And by the time of the summit, we expect that the NATO summit, we expect that some 20 countries, and maybe more, will have concluded their bilateral security agreements with Ukraine. This is proof, clear proof, that all of our countries are with Ukraine for the long haul. And that if Mr. Putin is counting on outlasting Ukraine or outlasting any of us, he is misguided. He's wrong. And again, I think you'll see at the summit further emphasis on that. We're also, as necessary, imposing new sanctions on Russia to keep the pressure on so that the aggression ultimately ends. And among other things, we're looking at countries that are supporting Russia's defense industrial base, which is allowing Russia to continue the war, including China. As President Biden's made clear, we have a real concern not with weapons being supplied by China to Russia. That's not what they're doing. What they are doing, as you've heard me discuss many times, is providing critical support to Russia's defense industrial base. Some 70% of the machine tools that Russia's importing are coming from China. 90% of the microelectronics coming from China, and that has enabled Russia to keep that defense industrial base going, to keep the war machine going, to keep the war going. So that has to stop. You saw partners come together across the G7 and beyond to be able to use effectively some of the Russian sovereign assets that are primarily in Europe and that now are being leveraged to provide some $50 billion to Ukraine in additional assistance, and we'll continue to look at that. I have things I could say about that I won't, but let's just remind. Thank you.
In NATO, the US has 31 friends and allies. Together, allies represent half of the world's economic and half of the world's military might, advancing US interests and multiplying America's power. NATO makes America stronger. Russia's war on Ukraine is a brutal assault on a peaceful, democratic nation. This war is propped up by China, North Korea, and Iran. They want to see the United States fail. They want to see NATO fail. If they succeed in Ukraine, it will make us more vulnerable and the world more dangerous. So our support to Ukraine is not charity. It is in our own security interest. Our security is not regional, it's global. What happens in Europe matters for Asia, and what happens in Asia matters for us. And this is clearly demonstrated in Ukraine, where Iran, North Korea, China are propping up, fueling Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine.